Hey, Renee, I'm back. So this time, I suppose not that surprising. I've done no, done two so far, three. Anyway, this time I'm here for a tag, an original tag, made up all myself. So it's November. It's so that means it's end of the year. Yeah, this year this year went fast by. Also, it's 2019. Which means it's soon 2020. Oh my god! Where did this decade go? I mean, it feels like yesterday it was 2010 or 2011 or 2012. And now we're here, soon 2020. Amazing, right? So, I decided to take all these emotions like, oh my god, a decade has gone away, all this panic, and just focus it into a tag. So this is the decade book tag. No, sorry. It's this decade book tag. I was originally going to call it the 2010s book tag, but then I thought, well, what happens? I suppose you never know what happens in 10 years, but like, what happens if YouTube is and BookTube still is here in 10 years and 20 years? Then having a 2010 book tag is a bit outdated. But having a this decade book tag, you can do it in 2029, you can do it in 2039. It's something you can do forever, really. Just in on infinity. So yeah. So the idea behind this tag is to kind of think about your reading decade to kind of summarize, I suppose, in a way. So you could this tag you could if you like research, if you like to like plan your tags, it's perfect for you. If you don't, well, it's not that hard anyway. I mean, you can just find some answers. Don't stress too much. Don't stress. So okay, first prompt. Oh, sorry, it's not a prompt. It's not a real one. First question. What's your favorite book published between this decade? So between 2010 and 2019. So it has to be published this year or 2010 until this year. So I suppose you could say something that's coming out, but no, you have to say something that's already been published this year. Yeah, favorite book published in that time. Would me, of course, and I suppose it's kind of difficult because it's a big time period. But for me, I would have to say Boys Don't Knit by T.S. Easton. I thought a lot through this, but then I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do a standalone because I'm gonna talk about some series afterwards, so I'm trying not to repeat myself that much. And this book, well, I suppose, yeah, it's a companion book, but it's no, it is no, sorry, it's the first book in the series. Anyhow, it's Boys Don't Knit by T.S. Easton. I've read it in I think it was 2014 or something, and it came out in 2009. Oh, moment. Oh, it can't be. Yeah, I'm just gonna check when it came out. Okay, I'm back. So I just found out it came out in 2014. So yeah, it does work. I probably already did the research, but then I had to double check it now. It came out in 2014. It's by T.S. Easton. It came out. It's a British author. It's the book takes place in Britain. So duh. It's quite funny. It's a book. Well, I would say it's quite funny in an original way. It's about this boy who's I don't remember how it started, but somehow he ends up in slight trouble with the law. I think he was just like just doing some small pocketing, or he wasn't doing anything major. But anyway, he gets in trouble with the law, and because it's his first offense, he gets community service, and because feeling I have to reread it now. But because of some of what he did, the judge gives him community service of going to a knitting club, actually, or he has to actually decide which club to go to. He has to go to a club after school. He ends up going to a knitting club, and he ends up loving it. So he looks on the fact that a boy is not supposed to like knitting. So you have kind of the whole feminism and the whole gender look at it all really. So his dad hates that he does knitting, but he says, "Oh, I have to do knitting, you have to do knitting," and yeah, it's just a very good look at the gender roles really. It's a very good book. Boys Don't Knit in Public by T.S. Easton. Check it out. Yeah, I've been babbling, but yeah. Next prompt, next question. Favorite book read in 2010 to 2019. So this could be a book that was published in, well, didn't specify that. The first question it has to be a book that was published between, I think I said it. Well, the first question, I'm just gonna say it again, is a book that has to be published between 2010 and 2019. This question, you have to have read it between 2010 and 2019. So if you read Harry Potter 1, that works here because it wasn't published. It wasn't published for the first time in the last decade. But you could have probably read it. If you read it and loved it, put it here. And for me, favorite book read, a moment. I know I never do the research. I never do that. Favorite book read is East by Edith Patou. It came out in 2003. 8? No, let me check. 2003 for the first time. This edition came out in 2005. So for both ways, it works here. But I read it, I think, a year or two ago. Just really, really enjoyed it. It's a fun take on East of the Moon, West West of the Sun, which is actually a Norwegian fairy tale, but it's actually kind of Beauty and the Beast-ish. It has similar aspects to it. So if you like Beauty and the Beast, you should check this one out. So yeah, that's my favorite read. And now, next question, the gripes. Least favorite read you read that was published between 2010 and 2019. For me, it was again kind of hard because I suppose the whole tag is hard because you think about all the books you read for a long time, really. But this one's hard also because most of the book I like, a book I enjoy or I like, I don't read that many books I hate, and if I hate them or dislike them, I kind of forget I read them. They don't really leave that much of an impact. Like I just kind of forget the whole experience really. But here, honestly, hot take Sally. I would have to go for Hunger Games by what's her name again? Suzanne Collins. Suzanne Collins. Yep, Hunger Games. I read the first book and I read the second book. I read at least the first book because the hype. Everybody loved it, so I thought I should try it out myself. I didn't really like it. I'm unsure if I read the second book. I know I didn't read the third book. But I didn't actually read like the first book because I don't really like the violence, which the whole book is based around violence. So if you don't like violence, it's not really a book for you. So yeah, it wasn't really a book for me. I didn't like it. I suppose, yeah, it wasn't a hated book, but it was my least favorite book, I would say. And then the next question, least favorite book read between 2010 and 2019. This one was actually, first I was also thinking like, oh, it's gonna be hard to think about a book I didn't like, even though it was a lot, it was an old book, even though I read it recently. And then I remembered, you know what? No, I know this one. So for this, actually, I'm going to go with 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel, what's his name? By Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I actually had to read this one for a university class. We were actually reading this like chapter by chapter during like I think it was 2 or 3 months. So I couldn't really. I suppose I could, but I didn't feel like I could just fly through it. I had to read bits by bit by bits, and I hated it. Did not enjoy it at all. It confused me. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters. It was just too many characters. I just nope, nope, nope. I didn't like it at all. And sometimes actually when I read something for university and then we talk about it in class, I enjoy it a bit more because we talk about it in class and then, oh, you're supposed to think like that and that means that and blah 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 blah. But here, even talking about it in class, I didn't like it anymore. I did not. Nope, no. So yep, there's that. And then the next question is most surprising read. And now you can, and now I'm just gonna stop saying between, no, I'm just gonna stop saying published or read. It's just what you want, really. Uh, Again, it's kind of difficult because I read a lot of book this decade. Uh, and this side actually, I know I said it wasn't, but I ended up going for Boys Don't Knit by Tia Season again. It was most surprising because I hadn't actually heard about it at all before I picked it up. I picked it up from the library, my local library. I just saw the title and thought, you're interesting. And I started and just I loved every second of it. And of course, yeah, I love a lot of books, but it's rare I love all the words and all the seconds of the book. So I would say, yeah, this book was surprising in a way that it made me think about things in a new way. I think I read it in 2014 for a long time, so it was before I started thinking really about gender roles and stuff. So it really made me think and made me laugh, and yeah, it's just, yeah, surprisingly, positively surprising book, really. Really. And now, next question. Most read author. Here, I actually didn't have that much actually uh, of uh, of trouble really finding it because and wasn't really that difficult because uh, it ended up being Gail Carrier. She has the Personal Protectorate book series. She has the Finishing School series, and then she also has the Custard Protocol series, which is four books, and then four novellas, and there's 5 books in the series. So together, that's 12 books, and if you count novellas, it's even more. So yeah, definitely Gail Carriger. Read all of her books. Well, sorry, all of her books. I read a lot of her books. So yeah, I'm thinking she's probably the most read author. And then last question, actually, the last and next. It's actually a bit more like freer, I suppose. It's not like this is one answer or choose one title. Okay, so this question is talk a bit about your reading decade. Talk about like books you found and if you maybe started reading something new that you didn't before, if you found a new genre, if you found booktube, if you whatever really. So my reading a decade actually I think kind of actually started with Vampire Academy. I found Vampire Academy actually in 2010, yeah. While I was randomly buying books on Amazon, I was buying L someone's don't really care to research that because it doesn't really matter. But um I was buying another vampire book and I got Vampire Academy recommended and I thought, okay, I'll try it out. And I think yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought the first 2 books in the same order. I read them I think more or less at around the same time. And then both of them I liked because of the story, how it's like so it's pretty set in in its own world. And the fantasy I read before was a bit more urban. Like this one is pretty closed off world. I would say. So like the first books I enjoyed, I didn't love them, but I enjoyed them much enough to want to get to read the third book. I bought the third book. I read the third book, and oh my god, the feels! Started crying because of the last chapter, and it was just so emotional. So yeah, after the third book, it actually became my favorite series around that time. Oh, sorry, one of my favorite series. I can't say it's like replaced one of my other favorite series. Really. It was just one of them, really. So yeah, and then Vampire Academy, and then yeah, and then my life became about like finding other books like Vampire Academy, reading the series, reading the lines, just very Vampire Academy focused, really. So yeah, and then I also found the Facebook page where actually I don't suppose not everyone knows this, but years before the Vampire Academy movie happened, Prieger, the production company, made a Facebook page where they had questions all the time and tried to had like interactions with the fans. And so yeah, I interacted a lot there, and I got some very good friends from Vampire Academy in that way. Hi, Angela. She's another booktuber. She hasn't posted a lot in a while, but she's out there. Fictional found girl. I'll post a link down below. And yeah, so yeah, Vampire Academy became my life for a few years there. And then in 2012, I went to a new school, uh, kind of thingy. I'm not gonna explain that because it's a whole thingy, really. And one friend of mine, she recommended Scholar Pleasant. I bought the first book, thought, oh my god, loving it! Loved it from the first book, and then just devoured and just so happy. And at that point, the first 8 books were out, so bought I bought the ninth book when it came out later that year, and just so happy. So yeah, this became a new obsession with me. I love Rick Riordan's work and Percy Jackson, so yeah, and I also like this one. So we would really say if you like Percy Jackson, check this one out. Yeah, it's kind of the same feels in a lot of ways, really. And then because of Scholar Pleasant, I started reading Derek Landy, the author's blog. And he recommended Holy Smails books. He had 2 books already, these two. And he had explained, he had recommended, no, he described her as the female author version of him. So I picked her up and loved her. So one favorite author leading into another. It's quite fun, really. Well, those both. How do you define favorite authors? Because I love this series, but I read her other series, or the first book in the other series earlier this year. Didn't like it at all, really. So, can you have a favorite author that you don't love other series by? Not sure. Yeah. Anyhow, so yeah, that one was a huge part of my life after that. Just like, I need new Geekle. Just love it so much. And then I found also actually actually kind of fun, kind of around the same time, I actually found Parasol Protectorates by Gail Carriger. I actually just found her actually randomly in a bookstore. No one talked about her. I just found her, found the first book, and I thought, this looks interesting. Bought it, devoured it, and bought the rest of the series during next few weeks, and then just devoured all the books, and then yeah. So I would say those are kind of my favorite book series. A few of them actually that I suppose kind of influenced me most during this decade. And yeah, that's this decade book tag. I hope you'd enjoy this book tag watching it. Maybe you want to do it yourself. If you do, please tag me. It's gonna be fun to see if it takes out off. Who knows? I don't. Anyway, this is me saying Renee out.